Hi Fox, how are you? I just got home from work. It's the beginning of the second week back at work for 2018 for me. I'm feeling a bit more with it this week, a bit more like I know what I do for my job. Last week I was feeling a bit discombobulated after having a couple of weeks off work, but I'm good this week. This is my third time to make this video, this V letter to you. Because I had sort of failed with the other ones, failed with the other ones, the other two. I knew what I wanted to say, but when I said it, it sounded stupido. Didn't really make sense, I wasn't really prepared, insert all those things. So I thought I'd tell you about some things in the next few minutes that are interesting, but I'm not going to hold myself to the 4 format. So apologies right now, because I think if I hold myself to the 4 format the way I am at the moment, I'm going to fail for a third time. So let's see how we go, hey? I'm reading a book at the moment on my trusty Kindle. How do you like my cover? I've got this Kindle. I don't even know what number it's called, but I bought this decal from Decal Girl, I think it was called .com. Anyway, it's a vinyl decal. It's one of Vincent van Gogh's paintings, Cherry Blossoms. I absolutely love it. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? And it's made me love my Kindle even more. I wish I didn't have this sort of black and white thing on there, because it kind of distracts from the colourful decal. But oh man, I like this. I like this Kindle. I just have it slightly lit in the background. Anyway, let me just go tell you that I'm reading this book, and it's called Irresistible, and it's by Adam Alter. And I bought it because I thought it was about how the internet, how phone apps, how social media software is all really irresistible. The name of the book, why we keep clicking on things and uploading things and stuff like that. That'd be quite interesting, but he really only touched on that in the first chapter, and mostly the book's about addiction of different sorts, internet and screen use being one of those addictions. So the prologue of the book Irresistible by Adam Alter goes like this. Never get high on your own supply. At an Apple event in January 2010, Steve Jobs unveiled the iPad. He said, "What this device does is extraordinary. It offers the best way to browse the web, way better than a laptop and way better than a smartphone. It's an incredible experience. It's phenomenal for mail, and it's a dream to type on." So for 90 minutes, Steve Jobs explained why the iPad was the best way to look at photos, listen to music, take classes on iTunes U, browse Facebook, play games, and navigate thousands of apps. He believed everyone should have an iPad, but he refused to let his kids use the device. It says here, because we have seen the dangers of technology firsthand. His 5 children, this is Chris Anderson, former editor of Wired, his 5 children were never allowed to use screens in their bedrooms. Evan Williams, remember that, or Chestnut, the founder of Blogger, Twitter and Medium, bought hundreds of books for his 2 young sons, but refused to give them an iPad. Interesting. In the first chapter of this book, so they talk about that, about how we reach for our devices often, and I use my phone a lot. It's a bit like a security blanket. I like to have it close, I like to touch it, I like to just touch the screen, make sure it's on. I do love my phone, I do. And so in the first chapter they also mentioned an app called Moment that you could put onto your smartphone, switch it on, and it would work away in the background and give you a report on how much time you spent on your device, on your phone. It would tell you what apps you were using. It included every time you just picked the phone up to check. So every time you touch the phone. So The thing was, though, I would check my phone in the morning and Moment would tell me that I had been on my phone for 8 hours and 45 minutes, which I hadn't because I'd been asleep. But my sleep app had been working. So I think it was getting a bit confused about what was going on. Anyway, it gave me a little notice after a week and it said, use your smartphone less often. Something like that. And I said, okay. I deleted the Moment app. I'm not actually prepared to use my smartphone less often. I was just seeing how the app worked. That was interesting. So, yeah, I've been using this app called Sleep Cycle. Have you heard of that? So Sleep Cycle is a sleeping app that's got a bit more sophisticated than compared to the last time I used it, which was a number of years ago, where you used to rest your phone on a corner of the bed and it would use its gyrometer. It would sense when you moved, and so it could tell when you were in a deep sleep, because you'd stop moving, because when you're deep sleep you're virtually paralyzed, and when you're in a restless sleep and all that sort of thing. Well, now this does it by sitting next to my bed on the bedstand with the microphone plugged in. Well, it's plugged into the power, and the microphone records the sounds I make during the night. And it can tell from my breathing whether I'm in a deep sleep or whether I'm awake or whether I'm restless and that sort of thing. So last night I had an absolutely terrible sleep. I know I did. I went to bed late. I was wrestling with a problem at work. And I know now that when I'm thinking about, not even when something like that's happening at work, I don't even actually have to actively be thinking about it for my brain to be working in the background, even without my knowledge. And so I don't sleep. So last night I had a terrible sleep. This is a picture of the graph of my sleep. And you can see where it's really low down here. That means I was in deep sleep, but you see later in the night in here, I'm awake at 4 a.m, I think it is. Is that 4? Yeah, between 4 and 5. And then I doze back off again, and then that's me awake at 6. So time in bed, 5.5 hours. That's a ridiculously low amount of time in bed. And the thing that I really like about this, it's telling me it says I have a 59% sleep quality, which isn't very high. In other nights I've had 68% and 98%. I've got a 98% night in bed. Look at that. Fantastic. But the thing that I like is that it records my snoring. Now, you probably don't know what snoring is. You don't snore, and I'm sure no one you live with snores. But if you have a look along the bottom of the graph there, underneath the numbers, see the little sound waves? Those are my snores. Check it. And the really good thing about it is, those are my snores. Yep, that's me. Yep. One more. So, yeah, I've had that on for a week, the sleep app for a week, and I don't actually even care if it's accurate, really, to be fair. What it's doing is, because I'm using the sleep app, I want my stats to be good, so I'm going to bed earlier and trying to sleep better. Last night was the exception, so we'll see how that goes with my sleeping. It's really good because, like, for every night there's how long I've snored. So for the first night it was 6 minutes of snoring, and the next night it was 57 minutes of snoring, and then the next night it was an hour and 3 minutes, and I got right up to 2 hours 4 minutes snoring. How good. And that was my best night's sleep at 98%. So woo, go me. Anyway, so I love my phone. I use my phone all the time. In the Irresistible book, I'm sorry, I can't remember all the details. I never do. I should have written it down so I could get it properly, but the gist of it was that even taking your smartphone into a meeting sent the signal that you weren't really there in the meeting. It sent the signal that you'd rather be elsewhere, and that's what. And I do know that when you're in a meeting and somebody is on their phone in a non-work related instance, that's really rude. And I don't have my phone in there because I need to be contacted, because I usually have meetings with people that if anyone's going to contact me, they'd basically be in the room. But what I use my phone a lot for at work in meetings is when we're talking about the website and we need to look something up. So it's our computer that we use. I don't have a laptop at work. I don't have that luxury. And so my desktop's on my desk. So when I'm in a meeting and I need to say something about a page or a section, or we need to look up a information, architecture, schematic or something like that, I grab my phone, and that's what I use, my computer. My angry rabbit computer. So I have absolutely no desire to use it less than I do. And I wouldn't be without it. And if that's addiction, then that's addiction. Michelle's addiction. It's beautiful. So this morning when the post arrived, I got my copy of Off Screen. And I haven't actually got this for a really long time. I used to get it when it used to you could get it in the magazine store. But I ordered this one because it had Erica Hall on the front. Mrs. Mule design. It's, first of all, look at the size of this. Like, that's my hand. I've got pudgy hands, but look, that is a really nice size compared to my phone. You know, it's a nice size. The cover feels nice. It's that nice sort of luxy. I don't even know what this. I should ask a printer actually what this is, but it kind of feels silky or wet. You know, it's got a really nice feel about it. Really nice size. Today at lunchtime I read the article, and I very rarely read articles in magazines. I look at the pictures and I skim and whatever, but I read the article on about Craig Modd. I'm pretty sure that when we went to South by Southwest in 2010, and were you with me? Or I went to one of the panels about disruptive media, and it was about books being disruptive media, and Craig Modd was on the panel. That's pretty much where I think I saw him. Anyway, so I got the book because Erica's on the front and because Craig was in the middle. It was nice to read. And he mentioned that he turns his modem off. Never mind just your devices, but he turns his modem off at night in the evening, and it doesn't go back on until lunchtime the next day, which I thought was interesting and a little bit attractive. No, him, I mean, he's attractive, but the idea of doing that appealed to me. It had stopped me fiddling around and wasting time in the morning, that's for sure, because, my goodness, the siren call, that is YouTube. But Craig also said something in the book that I want to share with you. I shared this with some workmates this afternoon when we were talking about all sorts of little bits and pieces and being a bit silly, but we were talking about books and writing and that sort of thing for a very short moment, and I read this and they appreciated it, and I thought, well, Fox might appreciate it too. So it's Craig Modd. One of the greatest dangers to any creative project is allowing the potential for the thing to subvert your ability to make it, because you will want to live in the world of potentiality for as long as possible. A book is always greatest before it's written. You're intoxicated by what it can be. That's very dangerous. You want to kill those seductions as quickly as possible, and one way to achieve that is fast iteration. Speaking of spending money, I popped into Gordon Harris, which is lethally far too close to work. Gordon Harris is a art supply shop. Honestly, it's like 2 doors down from work. It's deadly for me. They almost know me by name. I can't walk in there just for a peruse because I'll buy something. But with our art project, which I've also filmed twice, but if you, we'll see how that comes out. I'm going to upload it next weekend. I decided I would try a new medium, and I'm going to try and paint it with gouache. And so I thought I didn't have any gouache. Well, I probably do, but the few tubes that I found were quite hard. And so I thought, go and get yourself some more. So I went in and I bought this nice little pack of gouache tubes. I haven't even opened them, look. But the best thing about this pack is it was $11.99. This isn't artist grade. I don't need artist grade, but it is the gouache that will reactivate with water. So some gouache, I did a teeny weeny bit of research. Some gouache has like an acrylic paint or a chemical in it that makes it like an acrylic paint, so that when it dries it's light fast and, you know, like acrylic is very permanent. For instance, with the other sort, with the acrylic in it, if it dried on your palette you couldn't get it off. This stuff is like watercolour, and that water will reactivate it. So if it dries on your palette, you can still clean your palette. So I thought, yep. And the thing, and the difference between gouache, even with the acrylic in it, and pure acrylic paint, is this stuff dries chalky, like a chalky finish. Was I in the dark the whole time because I was leaning back here and it's just too dark? Now it's like, thanks, camera. So I'm looking forward to doing that. What else is going on in my life? Fox, that was the other thing. Oh my goodness. Hold on, wait. You waiting? Good. So, you know that we're getting a new kitchen, right? The great thing about this is, like, it's all me. Greg, while he's interested, he's just, honestly, he's just given me free rein, I guess. Even saying that, I'm being very restrained. But we met a builder on Saturday, and he's going to help us with the kitchen because there's lots of other things to do beside putting the kitchen in, like having an electrician and having a plumber and we're changing a window, so we need a bricklayer to do the bricks on the outside, and you know, so there's lots of other people involved, and I don't want anything to be left for us to do, or we won't do it. Because when I really looked at how we used the kitchen, I also had a good hard think about how we do things, and we don't do things. Check. Can you see that up there? Is that showing here? That wallpaper got ripped off 5 years ago. It's still not. Nothing happened. So like, I'm just trying to be really pragmatic and really honest that we just don't do things. Both of us work. You know, he gives 150% at work, and then another 150% at home when he likes to spend with the girls, you know. So, oh, flip, I actually marked this page. What I'm doing is I'm looking in kitchens and bathrooms, and the reason I am is because there's a bathroom in here, a kitchen in here that has the fittings and the look of my new kitchen, and I thought you might like to see it. There's also another kitchen in here that is so out of this world and so different from anything else that I also wanted to show you that. Let's see what I find first. It'll be the wacky kitchen. Hold on. Yep, sudden change of plan. Camera went flat. So it's taken me a little while to charge it because it's not fast. And so we're in a different room because Greg's watching his soccer stuff, and it's night time. So back to this, I was just quickly going to show you two kitchens. The first kitchen, well, this is very similar to some of the stuff that I'm getting, so I thought you'd just like to see that I'm going very white and traditional, but let's see. So I'm getting this profile cupboard here, so it's a white cupboard and it has a sort of a groove cut in it, which is nice, but I like this because it has the little handles and knobs that I have chosen for my kitchen. And the bench top in this picture is also the bench top I had originally for my kitchen, but I've changed my mind. I'm going for something a bit more expensive. That just happens to be more expensive, actually. That wasn't on purpose. This this one's a bit cream. You probably can't see it. Bit cream on white, which I don't mind. But the kitchen bench that I've chosen is white. It'll actually read a bit grey. Anyway, but this is a kitchen that blew my socks off. I loved it. It's called Kiwi Batch Reno in this magazine. And take a look at this puppy. You don't get to see stuff like that very often. See how it's like a 70s buffet, the legs underneath the kitchen there? Oh man, I think it's really cool. The tiles don't read very well in that picture, but more close up, they look like one of those 70s coffee mugs. Oh, dirty fingers out of the way. Anyway, it's just like, this is a book. Look at those nice lights too. They look like gobstoppers. This is a book that's full of white and black kitchens, because that's the fashion, you know, these really modern kind of apartment kind of things. And then all of a sudden there's this this thing. Hey Fox, same scene, different day. Battery problems. Well, not really problems. ABC, always be charging. So I was about to tell you goodbye and see you really soon. I'm off to work because it's the next day. Talk to you real soon. Bye. I love you. Bye. I love you. Bye. I love you. Bye. I love you. Bye. Bye. Work time.